Chief?
Yes. Mayor Council Michael McDonald, Assistant City Manager, Public Safety. My understanding, too, of this action today, this is, as we've talked about here, for the construction of the actual facility. Once we get down the road and prior to implementation, an interlocal agreement would have to be agreed upon with all the participating parties, and that interlocal agreement would come back to you for approval, which would have to have all the privacy components and everything that we're agreeing to share with one another. So there's really sort of two parts here. This is for the construction of the facility, but prior to going operational, we'd have to bring that interlocal back to you.
Okay, so the memorandum of understanding would be promulgated in the form of an interlocal agreement, which this council will actually take a look at before operations start at the Fusion Center itself.
That's correct.
Okay, now, this is the critical question from my point of view. We've got the memorandum of understanding, which passes muster with the ACLU people, that passes muster with the members of the city council, and anybody else who wants to take a look at it. No Randall's cards, no beer purchases. Everything is the way we'd like it to be. How do we know that's going to be followed? Who's going to monitor this?
Well, we are subject to an audit process here with the city. We have an independent auditor with the city, and I'd have to defer to the attorneys, but I personally would not have a problem with an audit to ensure that we're complying with what we're saying we're doing.
Okay, so this would be an audit from the internal audit, the city's auditor, or would it be an external audit? What do you have in mind?
Yeah. Let me defer that to the lawyer, but I would not have a problem with an audit, just like any other part of our operation.
Okay.
Hi, I'm David Douglas with the Law Department, and what the Chief mentioned in terms of an audit would certainly be doable, and that would be something that would be incorporated in the interlocal agreement and the operations plan that would be brought before you before this ever got up and running.
Okay. Okay. So in the memorandum of understanding of the interlocal agreement, there would be a provision that said we can audit you whenever we like, or some reasonable restrictions on auditing, but there would be an audit which would be available. We could require one whenever we thought it was necessary, and verify that you actually were following the policies.
Yes, that could be done.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
I really want to thank Councilmember Spellman for asking that line of questioning, because it does clearly show that this is simply a lease for a facility, and that there still is much more community conversation, stakeholder input, and policy decision making to be made moving forward. Again, I just think that while I know there are still some major concerns out there from stakeholders about a fusion center, I think we have time to answer those questions, and that this agenda item is really unrelated to those questions that still need to be answered. And I think this council has clearly shown where we lie on issues like invasive procedures by our police force, and we continue to be ever mindful of that. So with that, I'm going to make a substitute motion to approve item number 9 with the assurances that have been given here clearly on the record that moving forward we will have this community conversation.
Second.
Substitute motion by the Mayor Pro Tem to approve item number 9, second by Councilmember Cole.
And I have one comment that I want to make regarding the auditing of the procedures in connection with the Fusion Center. We can, of course, do that in our Audit and Finance Committee, and Councilmember Spellman is, of course, welcome to bring forward any number of hours that we need to commit to that, and that will be an open proceeding, and any citizen is welcome to come to that, and Councilmember Morrison will also sit on that committee. So because of those audit procedures that are available, I seconded the motion and feel comfortable that this body can guarantee that a public process will occur in connection with this item.
Thank you, Councilmember. I would also add, I mentioned earlier that I'm chair of the Urban Area Working Group, which also has oversight of this center, Intelligence Center. And in addition to that, the Public Safety Commission, the Citizens Commission, would also have purview to exercise oversight over this MOU and the execution of it. So I will be supportive of the substitute motion as well. And again, pointing out what Mayor Pro Tem said in making that substitute motion, it is that this motion is actually to negotiate and execute a lease for this property, which also happens to be improvements on the property as well. Happens to be a very good deal. We are saving a lot of grant money that can be expended for other purposes by adopting this item today. Councilmember Riley.
Mayor, just a question. I just want to make sure we all understand what's going on here, that this isn't just about a community conversation that will be going on, but in fact, before this center actually is up and running, before it actually operates, we will have to approve a negotiated agreement that sets forth the terms of its operation and that could include restrictions that would address some of the concerns that are raised today. So before this facility ever operates, we will have another public hearing to review the terms that govern the operation of the facility, and that will require another vote before the operations actually begin. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Before we ever went operational, we cannot go operational unless this body votes on that memorandum of understanding, their local agreement, which will include our privacy policy, where we'll lay out exactly what information is going to be utilized, the purposes of that information, what information specifically can be tracked and for what reasons, and we'll have an audit provision in there. And quite frankly, I don't mind oversight because that protects myself and the police department. We welcome oversight, and there would not be anything done until we actually vetted out also the policy, the privacy policy. I want to vet it out with the public and these folks before we even bring it to you. So hopefully we can have a lot of discussion up front and hopefully some kind of agreement that we can bring forward to the council.
Okay.